The world of wrestling is shaking with grief and disbelief. The words we never wanted to say, the sentence that feels like a dagger straight to the chest of every fan across the globe. Rey Mysterio Sr. has been laid to rest. A burial that no fan ever thought they'd witness this soon. A final goodbye to the man who redefined the meaning of lucha libre, who broke barriers and gave us hope in a sport that too often forgets about heart, family, and sacrifice. The air is heavy, the mood is dark, and the questions remain. How do you bury a legend? How do you bury a man whose spirit is larger than life itself? Fans didn't just lose a wrestler. They lost a hero, a father figure in the ring, a cultural icon who carried the mask not just as an accessory, but as a symbol. A mask that stood for tradition, for identity, for honor. And now, to see that mask lowered into the ground. To hear the bells toll for Rey Mysterio Sr. It feels wrong. It feels cruel. It feels like wrestling itself has lost a piece of its soul. But the funeral wasn't just a ceremony. It was a spectacle of emotions, a moment where reality slapped the wrestling world in the face. Dominic Mysterio, the son carrying the weight of the family legacy, broke down in tears at the graveside, clutching his father's mask as if holding onto the last piece of his heart. WWE superstars, legends, fans, all stood in silence as the priest read the final rites, and yet the silence was louder than any cheer ever heard inside an arena. And here's the part that will infuriate you. While the world mourned, some within the wrestling business treated it as just another storyline, just another headline. How can anyone look at the legacy of Rey Mysterio Sr. and not bow their head in pure respect? This wasn't just another wrestler. This was a man who paved the way for generations, who suffered, who fought, who bled, so that lucha libre would never be forgotten. And now, his name is being buried, literally and figuratively. The burial itself was a sight that fans will never erase from their minds. The casket, adorned with masks, photos, and tributes, lowered into the earth while Dominic could barely stand on his feet. The sound of the shovel hitting the dirt echoed like thunder, each clump of soil crushing the hearts of everyone watching. Fans cried, wrestlers cried, even hardened veterans shed tears, because this wasn't just the end of a man, it was the end of an era. Think about everything Rey Sr. gave to this industry. Think about the countless nights on the road, the injuries, the sacrifices, the racism and discrimination he had to endure as a Hispanic wrestler fighting for recognition in an American-dominated market. He wasn't just a luchador, he was a pioneer. He showed the world that the little guy could defy the odds, that agility, speed, and heart could triumph over brute strength. And without Rey Sr., there would be no Rey Jr., no Dominic, no legion of masked wrestlers filling arenas today. Yet still, there are whispers, critics, voices saying, he was just a mid-carder in America. Shame on them. Shame on anyone who dares to downplay the contributions of a man who carried lucha libre on his back for decades. This burial wasn't just a family affair. Legends from across the globe came to pay respects. You had Hall of Famers bowing their heads, masked icons standing shoulder to shoulder, and WWE superstars like Edge, Rey Jr., even Triple H himself, visibly shaken. The crowd wasn't silent because they were told to be, it was silent because grief suffocated everyone present. The tears, the broken voices, the chants of, "Thank you, Rey," that broke out as the casket was lowered. This was bigger than WWE, bigger than any promotion. This was wrestling saying goodbye to one of its purest souls. And here's where the rage comes in, because as beautiful as the tribute was, as heartbreaking as the burial was, the truth is wrestling doesn't treat its legends the way it should. How many times did WWE overlook Rey Mysterio Sr.? How many times did the company spotlight others while the man who inspired millions was pushed to the side? Only when death knocks on the door do we suddenly act like we care. It's disgusting. Fans know it. Wrestlers know it. And if you're sitting there listening to this, you know it too. Dominic's tears weren't just for his father. They were tears of frustration, of anger, of regret, because deep down, he knows how often this business forgets the ones who gave everything. He clutched that mask like it was his lifeline, whispering words no camera could catch, and for the first time, fans didn't see Dirty Dom, the heel, the character. They saw a broken son, a young man stripped of his father, forced to carry the torch sooner than anyone expected. And if that doesn't make you furious, then maybe you don't understand what this family has given to wrestling. The burial of Rey Mysterio Sr. wasn't just the end of a life, it was a mirror. A mirror held up to the wrestling world, forcing it to see its ugly truth. The truth that legends are celebrated only in death. The truth that the business chews up and spits out its heroes, only to parade them in coffins when it's too late. And that's what makes this hurt even more. Because Rey deserved better. His family deserved better. The fans deserved better. The funeral bells rang slowly, almost painfully, as the WWE Universe collectively mourned the legend, Rey Mysterio. Cameras caught glimpses of fans outside the service, wearing his iconic masks, holding candles, and raising signs that read, "Gracias Rey," and "Forever the King of Lucha." Inside, the atmosphere was beyond somber, it was almost suffocating. The air carried the weight of history, of countless memories tied to a man who broke barriers and inspired millions. And then came the moment that sent chills down spines around the world. Dominic Mysterio, his son, walked to the podium. The same Dominic who had once betrayed Rey on WWE television, who had aligned with the Judgment Day and spit on the very legacy his father built, now stood trembling, unable to hold back tears. His voice cracked as he began speaking. "My dad wasn't just Rey Mysterio, the wrestler. He was my hero, my guide, my everything. I know I didn't always show it, I know I hurt him. And I'd give anything, to take it all back." The WWE Universe, the same fans who once booed Dominic into oblivion, found themselves crying with him. That moment blurred the line between storyline and reality. This wasn't a heel, this wasn't a performer, this was a son grieving for his father. And every word poured gasoline on the fire of emotion already raging in everyone's chest. Then came the montage, the official WWE tribute video. It played on the Titantron at the service and later streamed globally. From Rey's WCW Cruiserweight days, battling Eddie Guerrero in classic Lucha Libre clinics, to his unforgettable WWE moments, winning the 2006 Royal Rumble, capturing the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 22, and even his emotional Hall of Fame induction night, every second was a gut punch. Fans wept as his final words from past interviews echoed through the speakers. "I just want to inspire the little guys, the ones who were told they couldn't. I want them to know they can." But what really broke everyone was the footage of Rey unmasking briefly backstage with his family, hugging Angie, hugging Dominic, kissing his daughter Aaliyah, smiling in a way fans rarely saw. It was raw, it was vulnerable, and it was a reminder that beneath the mask, Rey was simply a man who loved his family above all else. The crowd at the tribute show couldn't keep it together. Even hardened superstars like Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins were caught wiping away tears. Lucha legends from around the world, Psicosis, Juventud Guerrera, Ultimo Dragon, paid their respects. Triple H delivered words of admiration, saying, "Rey didn't just carry the lucha tradition, he redefined it. He didn't walk in anyone's shadow. He built his own light." But the most haunting part, the empty mask placed in the center of the ring. WWE set up a lone spotlight shining on Rey's final mask, his boots laid neatly beside it. The visual was devastating. Fans erupted into chants of, "Thank you, Rey." That went on for nearly 10 minutes straight. No music, no interruptions, just pure gratitude for a man who gave his life to the business. Backstage, rumors swirled. Would Dominic continue his father's legacy? Would WWE push forward with a story of redemption? Or would his grief spiral into rage, fueling a darker heel turn? Fans debated endlessly online. Some argued Dominic needed to honor Rey by unmasking himself in tribute, while others demanded he take up the mantle and wear the mask proudly. Social media became a war zone of opinions, with one thing uniting everyone: the loss of Rey Mysterio had shaken the wrestling world to its very core. And then came an unexpected twist. WWE announced that at the upcoming SmackDown, a final 10-bell salute would open the show, followed by a massive tribute battle royal in Rey's honor. The winner would not only receive a special Rey Mysterio Memorial Cup but also be recognized as the rightful heir to Rey's legacy in the company. Names like Santos Escobar, Dragon Lee, Ricochet, and even Dominic were announced as participants. Fans immediately began speculating. Would Dominic win as a redemption arc? Or would another luchador step up to carry Rey's torch into the future? As the tribute aired, one chilling truth hit everyone: this wasn't just about Rey Mysterio the performer. This was about Rey Mysterio the father, the man who broke stereotypes, the man who proved that size didn't matter when you had heart. And as Dominic placed his father's mask on the casket, whispering something inaudible before breaking down again, the wrestling world realized, this wasn't just the burial of a legend. This was the end of an era. But was it truly the end? Or would Rey's spirit live on through his son, through the lucha tradition, through the fans chanting his name for generations to come? That's the question burning inside the WWE universe. The SmackDown tribute began, and the arena was unlike anything fans had ever seen. No flashy entrances, no pyrotechnics, just the deafening silence broken by the solemn toll of a 10-bell salute. Every fan, every superstar, every commentator felt the gravity of the moment. The camera lingered on Rey's mask, carefully placed on a pedestal in the center of the ring, framed by spotlights that seemed almost reverential. It wasn't a stage, it was a shrine. Dominic Mysterio was there, front and center, visibly shaken but determined. He clutched the edge of the ring apron as memories flooded back, the times Rey lifted him over the ropes, the guidance, the training, the countless nights of encouragement and tough love. Fans could see it in his eyes. Grief, guilt, love, and a deep understanding that he had a responsibility now greater than any storyline or match. He was carrying the weight of his father's legacy on his young shoulders. The tribute battle royal kicked off, and emotions ran high. Legends and current stars alike stepped into the ring in Rey's honor. Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee moved with the agility and precision that Rey had popularized, paying homage to his style. Ricochet performed breathtaking aerial maneuvers that reminded everyone why Rey's matches were always special. And Dominic, every move he made carried meaning. Every suplex, every springboard, every cautious dodge was a reflection of lessons learned under his father's tutelage. Commentators could barely keep their composure. Michael Cole's voice cracked as he said, This is more than a match. This is a tribute to the man who taught generations of wrestlers to believe, to fight, to never give up. The camera panned to the crowd, and the chant of, Thank you, Rey, echoed in waves, shaking the arena to its very core. Dominic found himself in the final moments of the battle royal against Santos Escobar. The two men, high-flying warriors, locked eyes as if feeling Rey's presence over the top rope. The tension was unbearable, and then, Dominic executed a perfect 619, just as his father would have taught him, flipping over Escobar and landing in the center of the ring. The crowd erupted. Tears streamed down Dominic's face as he stood over the fallen competitor, holding his father's mask high. For once, the boos and jeers were gone. Respect, love, and reverence filled the arena. After the match, Dominic addressed the WWE Universe. His voice trembled, but the sincerity was unmistakable. I lost my dad, the greatest man to ever wear this mask. I know I made mistakes, and I wish I could change them. But I promise you, I will honor his legacy. I will fight every day to make him proud, and I will never forget the lessons he gave me. The crowd erupted into applause, a standing ovation that lasted longer than any championship win. Backstage, whispers began to circulate. WWE executives discussed how this moment could redefine Dominic's career. Could this emotional journey be the turning point where he sheds the cocky heel persona entirely? Or would the pain of loss fuel him into a darker, more unpredictable character? Fans debated endlessly online, analyzing every tear, every expression, every gesture. Social media blew up with hashtags like #ThankYouRey, #Rey Mysterio Legacy, and #Dominic Rises, signaling that Rey's passing had united the fanbase in unprecedented ways. Meanwhile, the locker room paid homage quietly. Legends who rarely show emotion openly admitted to feeling shaken. Edge reportedly whispered to Dominic, Your dad was proud. He always believed in you. Carry that with you. Kevin Owens, visibly teary, hugged Dominic and simply said, He inspired all of us, son. Never forget that. The moment transcended WWE storylines. It was raw, real, and unforgettable. The tribute video that played during the burial and SmackDown coverage became iconic almost immediately. It highlighted Rey's earliest matches in Mexico, his rise in WCW, his iconic battles in WWE, and the heartfelt father-son moments that defined him. Fans around the world watched from home, crying alongside Dominic. This wasn't just WWE content. It was a historic record of a life lived courageously, a legacy preserved forever in video and memory. And yet, amid the grief, there was anger. Fans criticized WWE for not dedicating an entire pay-per-view to Rey's memory. Social media exploded with posts accusing the company of exploiting tragedy without fully honoring the man who gave decades of his life to the industry. It was a harsh reminder that wrestling can celebrate its legends in flashy ways while still falling short of truly respecting them in life. But even that anger fueled the moment. It reminded everyone how powerful Rey's life had been and how desperately he was needed in the industry even today. As the night ended, Dominic Mysterio held the mask in his hands one final time, placing it on the center of the ring, a symbol of respect, grief, and the promise of continuity. This wasn't the end, he silently vowed. This was the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter written in honor of my father.